det här webbinariet så är det jag, Stefan Bergsten, som bara kör en kort introduktion. Jag kommer senare att lämna över till Marcus och Neil då ifrån CADshare som kommer att presentera sin produkt. Och det är alltså ett samarbete mellan Cadcraft och CADshare som ni nu kommer att få se. En mycket spännande produkt för att hantera eftermarknadsmaterial. Alla deltagare kommer att vara mutade under passet eftersom vi är ganska många så att vi inte stör varandra. Det finns möjligheter att skriva frågor i chatten. Så har ni några frågor så skriv dem när som helst under webbinariet så ska vi försöka besvara dem. Vi kommer också ge möjlighet i slutet på webbinariet att ställa frågor om man vill ställa frågor live. Webbinariet spelas också in så att alla har möjlighet att kika på det i efterhand också och om ni vill distribuera till andra. So now I will switch to English so that Neil and Marcus will understand what we're saying. So after this introduction, I will just give it over to you guys. So first we start off with Marcus. So I will just make you the presenter, Marcus.
Okay, thanks.
Here we go. Welcome.
Great. Okay. Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining. Obviously, this is just going to be a little bit of an overview of CADshare and what we do as a company, what our main sort of value proposition is, and then we're going to go into a live demo as well to do a sort of deep dive on the product. So CADshare, what we're trying to get as our main sort of strapline is to get manufacturers to try and think a bit differently. Okay, so we realize in the digital world now, the way that everything's going, customers are expecting a lot more from digital experiences. So, CADshare, we exist to provide faster and better digital aftermarket experiences by thinking a bit differently. And this is underpinned by the lack of innovation in this area of manufacturing. The aftermarket area was a bit underserved, and we hope to really disrupt that. So we have a really strong leadership team. Unfortunately, Chris couldn't make it onto the call today, but he will probably be on various other webinars that you'll have access to. He's a sort of 25-year veteran, mechanical engineer, spent a lot of time in my home country in Australia, working in the mining industry, and has vast experience in not only just the mining sector but also engineering and the aftermarket division. Neil, our CTO, is on the call with us as well. He has many years experience developing applications for the manufacturing industry. So he's a valuable resource to bounce off Chris's ideas and really to put them down into a digital roadmap and produce features that all of our customers really want. So we work with a sort of wide range of customers. Obviously, we're very strong in the mining, materials handling, and plant processing manufacturers. So the likes of CVE Global, which are a very big company, materials handling. They produce very large plants, bespoke plants to the mining industry. And then we would have transformed their aftermarket processes by automating their workflows. No two plants would have been the same coming off the assembly line. So obviously they had a long tail of parts in their inventory. So doing that manually with the back and forth email was very time consuming. We also work with oil and gas industry, and then also some automotive around bus and coach as well. So as I was saying earlier in the presentation here, things haven't really changed much in the last 80 years. Okay, so Morris Motors, they had hand-drawn diagrams. Parts were identified by leaders and read off a bill of materials and ordered by the telephone or cable. Fast forward to 2019, not much has really changed. 2D exploded drawings, very time consuming to create. And then again, the parts are identified by the same processes, read from a BOM and ordered by telephone and email. So fast forward to 2020, what we're trying to do there is create a whole new category around the aftermarket division by creating 3D part manuals with these from a company's native CAD files and assets. So we really reduced a lot of the downtime, which I'll go into in a moment, but we stitched together that whole process and make it a lot more intuitive, as you'll see from the demo, where you've got the actual 3D model, and then you can click on a part, and that will link to your parts data, and you'll get a notification there of the part and the stock level and price. So we're trying to build a whole sort of ecosystem around the aftermarket. So obviously we have the cloud software that we have, which is strong for part identification and ordering. We're building on all of the business insights and analytics, because we're having that data in the back end that you capture. So you're going to be really closer to your customer and get a lot more insights into what they're ordering from you. We have a full, technical documentation library that you can attach different file types and videos to those models, and then we have open APIs as well. So we built CADshare in a way that we knew that it was going to be customizable and link into a company's tech stack that they have, whether it's their PLM, ERP system, and so forth. We're just that layer inside that process to make it easier to order the parts. So very flexible in that way. So just a couple of the main points that CADshare really helps with. One of our main headlines is we're 90% faster. So we reduce 90% of time for resources to create this technical authoring. So in the old way, you had to pull together all of the BOM data from a PLM or Excel. It's quite slow. Then you had to edit that part data and description data because it wasn't in real time, wasn't pulling through from a database. So, the two didn't link up as well. And then obviously you had to create a lot more sort of exploded views, which took a lot of time. So coming forward into CADshare, the engineers just prepare a pack and go file. It's uploaded and ready to use in 5 minutes. And obviously it's their native CAD files that we're putting through the translator in Autodesk Forge, and it's creating those models. So there's no real CAD skills that are needed, and also there's no real need for a sort of high-spec computer, because everything's done and processed through the cloud. Around part identification, we're 85% faster than the old way, and we reduce wrong orders by up to 95% as well. So, there's a lot of value around being able to order the parts from the customer or dealer point of view. They can go in and locate those parts with ease, rather than having to dig through a sort of parts book and find the relevant part, which may well be obsolete by the time that that's been published after 6 months. And then all that old manual chain of ordering, which was okay, I'd like to order a part, which part is it, what's the model, and then having to dig that out and then relay that back and forth to the customer, which creates a bit of friction and obviously increases the time it takes to get that part to the plant. So as you'll see from the demo, you'll have instant access to the right data, and it's very intuitive to use with the 3D geometry. Supports multi-languages. And the last point there is, well, it's 70% less time spent on the order management side of things. So as you'll see, you get a full ordering dashboard, and then you'll have 24-hour support. You can create automated tracking flows with CADshare as well, and it just pulls it through from order to shipping and creating a document to send through to their team. Okay, so just to sort of wrap things up here before we get on to the demo, and a lot of the main values and USPs of CADshare. Obviously it's in the cloud, so there's no need to host it on your own server infrastructure. and then, you know, we create and update CADshare. We're very stringent with our security. We do all of the patching as well. And, you know, what we do really is we take all of your native CAD assets and we can reuse them to create those 3D catalogs with ease. And then you have the full workflows, and it's very fast to deploy, low cost of setup as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do there is I'm going to hand this over to Neil, and he's going to take you through the actual product with a live demo. So I'll get Stefan here to change presenter, and then we can.
Excellent. We see your screen now, Neil.
Okay. So this is your. I have. This is what your customers see.
Good.
They access your system. They will come to a branded portal that will, and they'll simply just have their username and password to log in. When they come in, they will see individual tiles for the machines and products that they have, and it's only the products that they have because we control that, and you share with them exactly what they have. So they come in, they're able to see their exact vehicles or machinery that they have. They can search, oh, if I can type, to narrow down what they're looking at and find them nice and quickly. It'll bring them then, when they click on the machine, to the individual parts of the machine, done into sort of, you can upload them in sub-assemblies just to make it easier and quicker for them to view. They'll be able to see kits associated with the machine, so parts that are often bought together and replaced together. Just quick and easy. You can look at it. You can see here, there's a few parts and the part numbers. I can add those directly to my basket, which we'll see later on. We can also now share technical documents. So you can have the operator's manual, safety manuals, warranty documentation, all shared with your customers in the one place. So that's, as Marcus said, we're moving towards becoming the full aftermarket solution for your customers. We can also share videos with them, which will allow them, so you can have a video on how to change a part of the machinery, or how to do a servicing. So then into the actual viewer. So your customer will log in here. This is all live, so that's how quick it can load. Customer can zoom in and out, they can pan, and they can rotate, all using the mouse or a touch-enabled screen. When we get here, then you can see now that you can see the whole model. It's got its full context. It's not initially exploded, or it's not hard to understand where the parts are. You can quickly see if it's an exterior part. I can just click on it. It'll pop up, tell me what the item number is, give me a description, and I can add it directly to my basket. If you have the ERP integrations enabled, it will also show a stock at a price here for your customers. Then we can simply use the snapshots on the left-hand side to step down into different views that are created using our system. So these again make it sort of, you can show and hide different parts to make it easier to find the one you need. So if we take this one here, it's hidden and moved us down into another part of the model. You can quickly see here then that we can enable assemblies. So for this part here, you can buy the individual wing roller, or you can select the assembly and purchase the whole impact rollers. So that's good as well for parts, you know, that you can buy the whole assemblies or not. Also, we have the ability to select options within it. So if they have different types of coating or materials for the different parts, then these here are easily set up so you can purchase the different types of them, and they all have a unique part number within the system. And then, yep, those all just sort of make it a bit easier to step down through and see the parts in the system. You can also add notes when you're looking at a view to explain something about the view or what the customer would need to understand. And as you can see here, you can also turn on ghosting, which just keeps that context of where the part is within the whole machinery. This is one of the things that helps massively reduce wrong orders, because with this here, I'm able to say these two parts here were slightly different in my model. I'm able to make sure with the context of, okay, it's the one just below the 3 runners that you can get the exact right part. And this is one of the big things, because you keep all the context within. While in a traditional 2D part manual, you'll be looking through the pages and then you don't know, is page 57 this section up here or this section up here? So this keeps that context for the user. Once I've added all my parts to the basket, I simply click through into the basket page. Just your standard Amazon style order page. I can see all my parts that I've added. I get some details of where they were added from. Oh, sorry, Max. Can add a comment to just check that this is the lagging for processing sand, just to make sure. Add that to the order, and the manufacturer will then see that. Enter in my requested delivery date, and as simple as that, then you submit your inquiry, and the manufacturer will receive an email to say order's been placed, and they will be able to respond with a quote immediately within the system. Also here, then you can see technical documentation. So this is one that's been linked to the part individually so that you can see how I change it or add it, and it'll log directly to the right page within the PDF manual. So that'll then get sent over to the manufacturer. Once they respond with a quote, we'll get an email to say a quote has been sent. We can log in, we'll see the prices, shipping, and then we just simply enter our purchase order number and place the order, and that's it done. Like, it can be as quick as 5-10 minutes if to get the order placed and processed through. And the same, you've got the live order history of when it's being shipped, and your order history is all there in one place for your customers to track and see how things are going. Especially for dealers, we have a part search, so most of your dealers will already know their part numbers, and we find that they don't necessarily always want to go through the 3D viewer to find them when they know, oh, I just want 74402. So they can just do their search, pop it in, it'll bring up their part, they can add it to their basket. And then similarly, we have their most frequently ordered and most recently ordered parts, a list of them, just to allow them to do things quicker and easier. So that's the customer side of the product. So as you can see, it's very simple, very straightforward, and very, very easy to use. And we'll just log in as the manufacturer. So similarly, first thing they will see is they get their orders. I can see the inquiry that was just submitted. So I can come in, prices that I have ERP data for will auto-populate with their price. Any others that haven't been used in the system yet, I can just pop them in, and then just check the price, sanity check them, add my shipping or discount, and I can view my comment that was sent to me. I can respond back to the customer. They'll see that on the order live. And then I can just generate my quote. And that's as simple as that, and the same workflow the rest of the way through: quotation, live orders. I'll be notified at each stage of the process. So then quickly on to customer management. Simply create a customer company for them and pop them in, and the same for dealers, so they can have multiple people within the system that we can manage for them, set them up. Once that's done, then publishing a model to them is as simple as opening this and going through, selecting which models we want to share, the technical documents and the videos with them, and selecting the customers. So within, again, 5 minutes of you selling a machine that you already have the model done in the system for, they can have their, they'll get their email to log in, set up their password, and they have access to ordering parts immediately. And then the other part is creating our technical authoring. So simply I'll find the one that I showed you in the demo. So log in here, and again, same sort of functionality, move, view, zoom. In here, we also then have the parts, all the parts in the system through the model tree. So we can look through and we can choose which ones are shown or hidden by simply turning it on or off here. We can lock parts as well. So if there's an assembly and we don't want, a lot of times some of the assemblies will be your holy grail. So you don't want people looking inside it or looking beneath that level of a part. So you can just lock it and then whenever I try to select it, that's all I'll be able to select. I won't be able to go any further down and see the other sub-assemblies. That's just locked. And then to create one of the views on the left-hand side that we've shown, you simply move the model into the shape I would like it to be and hit add new snapshot. That will quickly save it. And then from now on, if I click that, it'll bring me back to that layout. So some of the things you can do for those layouts, we can quickly explode parts. So that will allow us to see an exploded view, and we can tailor that up to lots of explosion or a little bit less. We can translate parts to create our own views very quickly as well, by just simply clicking and dragging them into the position we want them to do, make it easier for the customer to identify them. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we can turn on the ghosting, so it'll show where the part originally was when you've moved it out of. So it's a lot easier than a exploded 2D drawing and an arrow hopefully indicating where that was previously from. But it's as simple as that. Normally, we can make a full manual in this way within sort of about 15-20 minutes we're finding. It takes a lot less long than a traditional 2D document to draw, because because the context is still there with the rest of the model and the 3D elements of it, you can rotate it to go, okay, yes, that is here, that's where that attaches. Makes it a lot easier, so you don't have to spend as long moving all the parts individually and drawing leaders between them all to make sure they're obvious where they came from. The context is still provided. And then similarly, parts. We have the same ability to search for a part in the system. So all our parts then, this will be the other half of the system. We take data from your, we take in the BOM files into the system, and then we can update stock price. So anywhere that this part appears in any model in our whole system, we'll get this stock and price. Same, we can link a technical document to it, or we can supersede it and replace it with new parts. All this functionality here then works on every part, that part in every single model. So it's really quick to update. So you decide that from here forward, we are replacing this with 108.707. We simply just say replace, we choose where it's happening, and it then can link, supersede links you to another one. If we're changing the part, we do that through a different part of the system that I'll show you now. Go into, so that was the other thing that Marcus had mentioned, is the update time for your customer. So if I decide that this part here is now being replaced within our system, so from now on it will be this new part number, and then I just simply click save, and that's already through your customer. So that's another part where we save on errors in ordering, because that's now, we've replaced this part within the system. We decided the first one wasn't effective enough, or it was wearing too quickly, so we've modified the design, and now on anyone tries to buy from this conveyor, they will get the new updated part. They're not looking at an out-of-date part manual, a paper manual in their office. They're straight through to this. So that's instant. That's already, if I log back in as the customer, this will now be the new part. But yeah, so I think that is a very, very quick run through of what the system does. We have some security features as well, sorry. So you can turn on multi-factor authentication just to make sure it's as secure as possible. We have alert-based logins, so whenever a user logs in from a location that's not known to us, we'll send the manufacturer an email to let them know that this user account is logged in from a new location, here's the location. And you can choose then to block that access if you think it might be fraudulent. And we can also enable a watermark over the viewer to that sort of says NTI in place, put your logo over it, so that it's all branded and made sure that people know that it's official, proper stuff from yourselves. But yeah, I think that is a quick overview of the system. I think me and Marcus are now going to let you take some questions. We'll take some questions from anyone who has any.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
think
very much.
Neil, yeah, sorry, go ahead, Stefan. That's fine.
No, it's fine. Yes, I just want to say thank you both to you, Marcus, and to Neil. It's a very good presentation. So let's open up for questions. So I will look into the chat and see if we have any questions. We have one question there. So we have one question: how safe is the portal? I was thinking about the privacy policy regarding patented parts and or access to assemblies.
Yeah, so anyone to access the system needs to be granted access from the manufacturer. So you create the customer, you share them they create their access, and you can revoke that at any time. Everything within the system then is standard web application security. It's top, we get audited and stuff, so it's very secure. You can enable MFA to make sure there's no that it's harder again for access. Just sort of your standard web application security policies all in place.
I would say as well as, you know, we have the ability there with a single sign-on, which we've used for a couple of customers as well. So if they have given access to, you know, the back end already for their customers, then, you know, we can create that sort of single sign-on layer and be part of that process. So we've done that for a CDE, which had an existing sort of customer service portal, and then, you know, they integrated that sort of customer service stack, and we just built that single sign-on. So with those protocols, it's quite safe and secure because, you know, you're not going to be giving out those sort of credentials to anyone who's not going to, you know, have access to the back end there. So.
And so, yeah, maybe we should mention the backbone of all this. I mean, the backbone of all this is based on Autodesk Forge. So could you tell us a bit more about that? A bit more about Forge? Yeah.
Yeah, so we use Forge for the viewer that you see. So and it does the translations of your models. So that's another element on the security. When we receive your model, we upload it directly to Autodesk Forge. It's converted then into the web viewables that we use, and it is then deleted. So your CAD file is with us for about 3 minutes, maybe at most, and then it's deleted. So the security is very high on that side because we understand that's the bread and butter of your business is your CAD files. Once it goes up to Autodesk Forge, then it's stored within their systems. And it's that gives us the power and the speed, so it's continually updated as well. So as you move to Inventor 21, 22 editions, it's already ready before it's released, so we can continue to work with the latest and greatest.
Excellent. And just to clarify that, Autodesk Forge, I mean, this is the same platform that Autodesk is using for Fusion 360. We use it a lot for configurators. It's the basic of Fusion Lifecycle, the PLM system, and so on. So it's really connected into the whole Autodesk ecosystem. I think that's very important to mention.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So do we have more questions? So please just write in the questions area. Then I have one question. So if I, as a company, if I manage dealers, so if I have dealers that I would like to do all the selling for me, and I know that you have support for that. So can you mention something about that, Neil?
Yeah, so that's it's actually a lot of the customers use it in that way, where it so you create the customer company, so it's the same, just create a dealer company with an option for that, and then they can process their orders directly. So it's the exact same workflow. And we've actually found it's been a big driver for some of the customers taking it up, is that it's improved their relationships with their dealers. As you can see from the quote that Marcus had shared for NC, it was one of their main drivers. And Bergman as well, actually, they moved into the Americas. So they wanted that 24/7 element for their dealers, and it sped up their processing of the orders, and their dealers have never been happier, apparently. So.
Excellent. Good. Yeah, I don't see any more questions in the questions window. So I guess we have more or less everything covered. So just to sum it up, so I will take this in Swedish if that's okay with you guys. Så bara för att avrunda, så är alltså då, så är vi på Cadcraft, vi är då återförsäljare för CADshare-portalen här i Sverige. Så har ni frågor kring det här så kontakta oss, kontakta er vanliga kontakt på säljsidan, så kan vi gärna hjälpa till om ni vill ha en mer riktad demonstration till exempel, eller om ni vill kolla med prisuppgifter och så vidare. Så vi håller på att launcha det här samarbetet just nu på hemsidor och webbinars och så vidare. Kommer också följa upp med fler webbinarier kanske på svenska och liknande. Så vi är super exalterade över att vi har liksom kommit igång med det här samarbetet. Vi ser det som en väldigt bra pusselbit in i hela vårt erbjudande. Inte minst om man också tittar på integrationen mot affärssystem och sådana saker. Så med det så avrundar vi. Så with that we will round this off. So I really would like to say a big thanks to Marcus and Neil for a very good presentation. And we keep in touch. So I wish all...
and I can make the through the slide deck, and also I have there's a 10-minute pre-recorded demo of CADshare as well, which I'll add on and send to yourself if any of your customers are looking to use that as a reference and dig back in. It just goes through a couple of the sort of use case or customer journeys as a end user and then as a manufacturer, so it might be handy to send you that across.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. Ha en bra dag. Have a nice day.